Start out. Welcome everyone to community prayer at Hartford International University. We're glad you can join us for this half hour where we're going to be commemorating and celebrating, inshallah, the beginning of Ramadan and also the spring celebration of Nowruz that many people around the world, at least in the Northern Hemisphere, have inaugurated this past week. So we're going to be learning more about that. But first, just a word about community prayer here at HIU. Community prayer offers the university the opportunity to gather each Wednesday for spiritual support. The format and focus of the service will change and take the shape of the particular tradition of the community prayer leader each week. Attendees who do not identify with the tradition being celebrated are encouraged to attend and be participant observers as their comfort level allows. Participants from any and no religious tradition are welcome. So we're glad that you are with us for a time of learning, reflection, and prayer today. It is an important time of the year, this change of seasons in the Northern Hemisphere, which is accompanied by a number of both cultural and religious commemorations and celebrations. And so we're going to talk about those today. To begin us in our time together, I would like to welcome Inas Kassal, one of our students and instructors who will begin today with a recitation.
Thank you so much. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين صدق الله العظيم.
Amen. Thank you so much. I would like to now turn over our community prayer to Professor Hossein Kamaly, who will spend some time introducing us and sharing with us the tradition of Nowruz.
In the name of God we begin, and in God we trust. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Professor Grafton, for organizing community prayers so efficiently, and thank you for having me to participate in it today, as well as my esteemed colleague and friend, Dr. Ali Shakibai. I just can't help but admire the image of the mother and child that we see Ines and Zainab, and wonderful. Great to be here. First, let me begin by wishing you all, each and every one here now, and those who may watch this later, a very happy Nowruz. This year, Nowruz has coincided, or nearly coincided, with the beginning of the holy month of Ramadan. So let me say in the beginning, in addition to wishing you a happy Nowruz, let me also say happy Ramadan, blessed Ramadan, as it is said, Ramadan Mubarak or Ramadan Kareem, similar meanings. Blessed Ramadan. May this be a time of rejuvenation and spiritual plenitude for us all. Nowruz, if I may share my screen with you. Thank you. Nowruz literally means new day. New, now, or no means new. Ruz or Ruj means day, and therefore Nowruz means new day. Simple to remember. This word refers to the first day of spring, with hundreds of millions of people around the globe celebrating or observing it in one form or another. The pronunciation of the word Nowruz varies from place to place, as this is a tradition observed by numerous peoples from Iran to Tajikistan, people with different ethnic backgrounds, linguistic backgrounds, religious backgrounds, Muslims, non-Muslims. Sometimes the word is pronounced as Nowruz, which is a Turkic pronunciation. Sometimes you may hear Nowruz, which is a more Arabicized form. The United Nations recognizes Nowruz as a cultural tradition observed by different and diverse peoples around the world. So this is on its list of cultural heritage. The United Nations observes that as a list on a list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity, because it contributes, this observance contributes to cultural diversity and friendship among peoples and different communities. Nowruz is a deeply rooted tradition, an ancestral festivity, which is a lively spring holiday, but more importantly, it is a time to promote values of peace, solidarity, and friendship among peoples and different communities, and especially respect for nature, for the world of creation, this rejuvenation of nature. There exist many ways to celebrate or observe this old and geographically diverse tradition. You may see many pictures of dancing, so I included that, but there is more to it. These are pictures from Iran, where I come from, and I'm familiar with the celebration in that context. So people on the left have gone out to celebrate this occasion near the presumed tomb of Cyrus the Great. So this is celebrated as a national festivity. And on the right, you see the shrine of the 8th Imam in the city of Mashhad, where also numerous people flock every year at the beginning of the new year and trying to usher in the new year there by being there. Visiting friends and family is a big part of celebrating Nowruz. So is gift giving, especially providing new clothes for those who need them. This is a big part of celebrating Nowruz. At its core, Nowruz is about renewal and reaffirmation of companionship, kinship, and commitment to what is good and to what is clean. For some, it's simply a celebration of the spring, the revival of nature, and a time for joy and merriment, as I showed in the previous picture, very commonly used. Some also regard Nowruz as an occasion and an opportunity for the renewal of faith and the rejuvenation of hope, as we see in this other picture. A noticeable element in celebrating Nowruz is setting up a spread or a table, a sofre or a mise, and placing some objects of symbolic significance on it. Now, this is called sofre haftin, or the haftin banquet. My colleague, Professor Lisa Dayhill, has kindly shared a video with us that she suggested that we show, and I'm going to show that. It's a very short clip. It's no longer than 3 minutes. It's actually shorter than 3 minutes. But you will see, and I will add a few things at the end of that. So let us see how it works.
Welcome to a traditional Nowruz celebration. Wait, what is Nowruz, you may ask? Well, It literally translates to new day, and it's the Persian New Year. It celebrates the beginning of spring. But Nowruz isn't just a special celebration for Iranians like me. From Afghanistan and Azerbaijan, all the way to Central Asia and Northern India, it is thought that nearly 190 million people celebrate Nowruz. And although it's often believed to have Zoroastrian origins, it's a holy day for some branches of Islam too. However, for many of us, it is now a secular holiday. Celebrations begin at the exact moment of the spring equinox, when the sun passes above the equator. It's the point that night and day are the same length. This usually happens on the 21st of March, and it marks the first day of the Persian calendar. And it's this, the Nowruz table, that is the center of many celebrations. In Iran, we call it Haftzin or 7 S's, and 7 in Iran is a lucky number. Although other cultures may do it differently, we put 7 symbolic items on it starting with S. Sabze, made with wheat or lentils, and it represents rebirth. Samanu is a dish that gives common wheat a new life as a sweet, creamy pudding. In Central Asia, they call it sumalak, and it's often considered as the most important item on the Haftzin table. Sib means apple, and it represents health and beauty. Senjet, the sweet and dry fruit of lotus tree, represents love. Sir, which translates to garlic in Persian, represents medicine or good health. Somar, a Persian spice representing sunrise and light overcoming darkness. And finally serke, which translates to vinegar, and it represents age and patience. But getting all this together takes weeks of preparation. First, we start with khune tekuni, which literally translates to shaking of the house, a spring clean. And then we go and buy new clothes to wear at the Haftzin table, so we can look our best for Nowruz. Then we start painting eggs, which represents fertility. This is also a common tradition in parts of Afghanistan and Azerbaijan. There are many other special traditions attached to Nowruz, most famously the Chaharshanbe Suri, a festival which involves jumping over bonfires on the last Wednesday before Nowruz. So now we have the Haftzin here, but we can't start the celebration until our friends and families get here so we can really celebrate Nowruz, the Persian New Year. Nowruzatun Mubarak.
Okay, thank you.
At Amica, we provide something more than insurance for auto.
Okay. Now I have to silence it. Let me see how that. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Dehel, Professor Dehel, for sharing this with us. As some of you here know, I'm a pedant, so I always look for things to correct, but I'm not going to waste your time with that at this moment. I will just say that Nowruz, where I come from, is not simply a secular celebration, as it may be for some people, but for me, it is deeply intertwined with questions of faith. And there is a prayer that is commonly recited at the moment of the New Year's beginning, or as the expression goes, at the ushering, when the New Year ushers in, or as we say in Persian, the turn of the year, tahvil al-sal, the turning of the year. It is short but meaningful, and I fondly remember hearing it from my mother, grandmother, father, grandmother, and aunt, year after year, as we eagerly waited for the exact moment of the ushering of the new year. May they all rest in peace. Today is the death anniversary of my mother. So here is that short prayer in translation. Let me see if I have it. I do have it on PowerPoint. If you bear with me for a moment, I'll share it with you. Maybe we can recite it together also. So. Okay, it's not here. I will recite it. O you who direct all hearts and eyes, you who brings forth nights and days one after another, you who commandeers the turnings of all affairs and all occasions. Bless us and our being with your grace. Amen. And this is how it reverberates in my ears now. I'm going to do it with a Persian accent, not with the Arabic accent, but it's an Arabic prayer. Ya muqallib al-qulub wal-absar, Ya mudabbir al-layl wal-nahar, Ya muhawwil al-hawl wal-ahwal, habbil halana ila ahsan al-hal. So this would be a more Persian accent, and I won't do it in the Arabic way. Now, the celebration and observance of the spring equinox is a very old human tradition. This is a tablet. This is a Babylonian. This is actually an Assyrian clay tablet. It's an image from Nineveh, Iraq, in northern Iraq. It dates back some 2,600 years. So it's a very long idea, and it was dug up. It was unearthed in the library of King Ashurbanipal from the 7th century BC. And this is what it says. On the sixth day of Nisan, the day and night were of equal length. Right? So this just hints that this equality, this balance between day and night, this vernal equinox or spring equinox was observed and recognized a very, very long time ago in human history. This semester, my colleague, Professor David Grafton, and myself, we teach a course together called Faiths as Formal Realities. Last week, when we were discussing Passover with our 5 lovely students, none of whom is here today, we came across the passage in the beginning of chapter 12 of the book of Exodus that talks about the month of Nisan as the first of the months of the year, right? So this beginning of the new year with spring is something that is biblical as well, and we find it in various traditions. But however, just as Passover is more than a mere spring holiday, and in the same way that Easter is much more than merely the observance of the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the vernal equinox, as the council had it, Nowruz has dimensions also that go beyond a seasonal celebration. At the risk of repeating myself, I repeat, the celebration of Nowruz gives us an opportunity to renew ourselves, our hopes, our ideals, our faith, and our commitment to the betterment of the world for all. Especially this year, the spring equinox is coinciding with the advent, with the coming of the holy month of Ramadan. There is a saying in the Islamic tradition attributed to the Prophet that everything has a spring, and the spring of the Quran is the month of Ramadan. So this is the spring of reconnection with the Quran, with divine word. And by saying this, I'm wishing everyone a blessed month of plenitude, spiritual plenitude. I want to ask Dr. Shakibai, who kindly accepted to deliver the closing prayer for today. Thank you very much.
Dr. Shakibai, please make sure you unmute yourself.
Salam, peace be upon all of you. In here I'm in the West Coast, so it is morning, good morning. For you is good afternoon. Somewhere else it is night, so good night for everyone. And thank you very much, Professor Reverend Grafton, for this kind of preparation and your sincere concern. I had chosen 2 prayers, and thanks God that one of them was recited by Professor Kamaly, and it's very interesting that we have been thinking the same ideas. But I would like to recite it again, because we recite these prayers very frequently during the equinox. So I will recite it only the original one. In the name of God, the Beneficent. يا مقلب القلوب والأبصار يا مدبر الليل والنهار يا محول الحول والأحوال حول حالنا إلى أحسن الحال. Amen. And the second prayer, the author of it is unknown, but the content of it is very inclusive, and I just enjoyed it, reading it several times, and I would like to read it for the community. And that is, O Lord, let us awaken from the ancient beauty and sacred stillness of winter, giving thanks for the solitude and reflection her season has provided. O Lord, let us emerge from the protection of our solitary cocoons, readying ourselves for the miraculous moment when our newly unfolded wings take flight away from the harsh, unforgiving chill of separation. Let us turn our faces to the warmth of a new sun dawning on the horizon, a new day offering the promise of hope, change, renewal, and rebirth for all living beings. O Lord, let us gather together as one human family, mindfully planting our new seeds of patience, tolerance, and understanding in the rich and fertile soul of compassion, love, and forgiveness. O Lord, let us embrace the endless possibilities of uninhibited growth and mindfully weed our gardens with tools of tenderness, devotion, and non-judgment. I would like to repeat that. Help us to mindfully weed our gardens with tools of tenderness, devotion, and non-judgment. Let us remove all doubt and fear of the unknown future and replace it with steadfast responsibility and accountability for the collective choices made that have shaped our present. Let us reclaim the innocence of our own infancy when heart and spirit were pure, fresh, and unblemished. O Lord, let us step out of the darkness of division and into the light of solitary, perfectly balanced between shadow and illumination, day and night, uncertainty and clarity, separation and unity. O Lord, let us nurture the new sprouts of transformation with the unyielding power of faith, trust, and the heartfelt nurturance and encouragement. O Lord, let us grow this diverse circle of humanity with a clear vision of the necessity and urgency of a strong community unity, based in loving service to the greater good. O Lord, let us live in gratitude for all we have and that we are, and all that we are capable of becoming, as we assist one another in thriving, not merely surviving. O Lord, let us make the necessary changes within our own hearts and minds that allows us to rise above the pitfalls of the past and step into this season of new beginnings, cultivating a world of humanity, fellowship, peace, and prosperity for all living beings. Amen. Thank you very much, Professor Yu, for this assignment. This is my great pleasure to see you and learning from your lecture. It was very
Great
complete.
to remember Professor Ayub, may his soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Right. You should think about him. God bless his soul. I wish everyone health and happiness and more prosperity for this year and many years to come.
Thank you, Dr. Shakibai. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone. I'm not sure if there would be any interest in further questions, but I can promise some bookish answers.
Right. Thank you, everybody, for coming to community prayer, for joining us today. And for those of you who will be fasting and celebrating Ramadan, I wish you all the best, a successful fast. And for those who would like to stay, Professor Kamaly and hopefully Dr. Shakibai can continue to answer questions about Nowruz.